My name is Richard, and as always, we're here at Unity of Northeast Pennsylvania, a positive path for spiritual living. And I am here at my home as we continue our practice of Lent and spiritual release and renew for 2021 using the book Release and Renew. Again, it is a publication free from unity.org, so feel free to go to unity.org and you can download a copy or have them send you a physical copy. So with that, today, I think our affirmation for today really hits home in this time, and it's called, I release the feelings of loneliness. And we hear it constantly as people have been secluded over the pandemic, really aren't going out, aren't a lot of places that you can go out. And if you're one of those people that are constantly in the midst of a crowd and that energizes you, some people call it extroverts, you know, it starts to affect you emotionally at times. Even as an introvert myself, you know, I find my energy through going internally, through meditation and things like that. But I do miss, you know, the camaraderie of the one-on-ones that I love. You know, introverts are known for, you know, not being excited about being in crowds, but when you get a conversation going on a one-on-one basis, they can talk forever. So we're all being affected by this. So how do we release loneliness? So let's go ahead and go to the story. Again, the article is written by Reverend Kathy Beasley, speaker teacher in Orlando, Florida. And I know her personally as she is an alumni of the Urban Ministerial School from which I graduated. So with that, one of my favorite pastimes as a child was to play dress up and pretend to be one thing or another, depending on which objects and articles of clothing I could fashion into a costume. While in disguise, I would take on a larger-than-life persona and become for a moment that which I could only imagine. As with every good game, there came a time to return to the reality of my life and the truth of my being. We can often live a partial existence of having to hide, usually from ourselves, as the game of pretend and dress up lives on until today. Today, I recognize that we are what we pretend to be, so perhaps we should be careful about what we pretend to be. I believe that we save one another by being true to ourselves. I no longer pretend to be anything other than who I know myself to be. I shed the need to pretend to be okay when all I feel is loneliness. I put on what has always been hidden, wholeness of the soul. I release feelings of loneliness, no more pretending. I am not afraid. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. And that's from Isaiah 41:10. And one of the things that I constantly talk about, and you've heard me talk about this not only in my lessons, but here is when we talk about the temporal mind or the temporary mind. And that's usually your ego, which is influenced by outer senses. And as she said, we play pretend, we put on these masks that we try to be more than we are because we're hiding some internal turmoil. Maybe it is loneliness, maybe it is inadequacy, maybe it's a self-worth issue. It doesn't matter. We put on these personas and we go out and we do these activities because we are told that things should be a certain way, or that you should act a certain way, or you should whatever. And after a time, you got to realize we got to stop shooting on ourselves. We want to make sure that we're acting in our true sense and not allow other people to influence us. Now that goes back to the other saying, the fact of being right. When we allow our temporal mind to rule our lives, we think we're right because, or we continue to practice because. But when you look around yourself, you realize you're only pretending because you're getting messages from all over the place. We talk about, today I'll be attending Reverend Mosley's memorial at 2 p.m. Eastern online. And one of the things she talks about is how she didn't believe that God was someone who just handed things out. It was through ideas and dreams and our free will that we chose to act upon it. So again, we get these ideas, we get these dreams, we are told this is something for you to do, but you don't act upon it because of fear. You don't act upon it because you rather play dress up because Joe down the block or Jane up the block told you that that's not how we do things, or you're afraid of what Joe or Jane may say about you. So today, let's release that need of being lonely and know that this source, God, or whatever it is for you is always with you. And that divine self is just reaching out to get out there, and that you want that light to shine because there's someone like you today who's looking at you going, well, I'm going to mimic her because she seems to get along. Well, we don't want you to get along. We want you to get on with your life, be the divine person you're going to be, and truly live the divine life that you were brought into this expression to be. So again, practice your affirmation as always, and release. And anytime you may feel lonely, and maybe just sitting in a chair somewhere, just I release the feeling of loneliness. With that being said, as I always end this, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. And I bid you namaste as a divinity in me sees the big and beautiful divinity in you. And I will see each and every one of you tomorrow.